You don't need to wait. No one's coming to rescue you. It's not a Disney movie. Nobody's coming. It's only you. I think a lot of people, they will go from their full-time job, quit. They have very meager savings, and suddenly they're like, this has to work. So here's a simple example of how you can control your confidence in less than 20 seconds.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
He's Ramit Sethi, and here's my take on his top 10 rules to success. Enjoy.
Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, take baby steps.
This is something I encourage a lot of entrepreneurs to think about. I think a lot of people, they will go from their full-time job, quit. They have very meager savings, and suddenly they're like, this has to work. Well, now you've put yourself in a bad position.
Yeah.
So either start it while you have a full-time job, do it on the side, and don't tell me you don't have time, you have time. And the second thing is, build up your savings. Your savings are going to give you the runway or the flexibility to try different things. A business is not easy, especially going from 0 to 1. It's pretty hard. And if you're under a time crunch where you have like 2 months of cash left, you're going to start making bad decisions.
Yeah. Rule number 2, seek ambitious people.
The average of the 5 people you're surrounded with, that is a very powerful idea. And instead of closing the door on the people you hang out with, why not open the door to some new people? Why not find people who go to your conference, for example, or who are on my site, people who are ambitious, who have gone through these programs, and say, you know what, can we set up a weekly check-in? It could be 5 minutes, it could be over text, but let's set up this check-in and just say, what'd you want to do last week? Did you execute? Why or why not? Every week, 9 a.m., Monday, let's do it. That's how you suddenly meet a group of people who are unapologetically ambitious. And that will change everything for you, because instead of having to drag people to these self-development conferences and they say, that's weird, I don't want to do it. The people you actively seek out are going to be like, yeah, I'm in, let's do it.
Let's do it, yeah.
And that's powerful.
Yeah, so find the new communities that you can have these conversations with.
Yeah.
And don't cut everyone out of your life, but just start having those conversations with people that are more aggressive.
Yeah, like, do you know what I told people to do on my Instagram account? So I told people it's important to find other people who support you. A lot of you are waiting around for some like millionaire to fall out from the sky and invite you to their private group. It's never gonna happen, never. Instead, why don't you start it yourself? And I said, go into my comments, write who you're looking for, and then invite someone to join you.
I like that.
You don't need to wait. No one's coming to rescue you. It's not a Disney movie. Nobody's coming. It's only you. So take control and go find someone and then build that together.
Rule number 3, create the best product.
So how do you go from a group of people who complain about a $4.95 ebook to a group of people who are delighted to pay tens and tens of thousands of dollars? How do you create a community of 30,000 loyal, happy customers? These are consumers. These are people like you and me. They're in this room. And they are spending thousands of dollars once and then doing it again and again. And in fact, when they buy, their top criteria, not even their top 5 criteria, is about price. We do a ton of research. We collect hundreds and hundreds of thousands of data points. This is one. We ask people, why did you not join our course? Look at the comments. It's too expensive. Another pivotal moment here. The world will try to drag you down in price. Silicon Valley will try to drag you down in price and say, nobody would pay for that. People don't pay for insert blank topic here. And if they do, they'll only pay $5 a month. Well, we don't believe that. We actually believe that there's room in the market to be the best. And we mean build the best products, select the best customers, and service them in the best way. We have no intention of playing in the $5, $50, $100 market. I'd rather give away our content than play in that market. So how do we do this? The key insight I learned was, don't just listen to the first response, because that's politically correct. That's what they'll tell you. But when you build something that is so good, it solves such a big burning pain in their life, then price is a mere triviality. And if you think about it, we intuitively know this. We all have something in our life that we would pay anything for. Maybe it's a a business class ticket for your mom to come visit you so she can stretch out her legs, right? Maybe it's a beautiful leather jacket. Maybe it's a bag of chips. You just love these chips, whatever. We all have something we would pay anything for. And the same can be true for your products as well.
Rule number 4, develop your confidence.
There are some people around us who just seem like they are born with natural confidence. You know who I'm talking about. They're super smooth, super confident. They always know the right thing to say. Think about President Obama. He just seems like a smooth guy. Think of one of his famous "Yes, we can" rally speeches. Not being political here, just talking about his oratorical skills. What do you notice about how he speaks? He's powerful. He's decisive. He speaks slowly and almost never stumbles or stutters. His points are clear and they're to the point. He's the epitome of confidence when it comes to a speaker on stage. So when you look at somebody like him, it's very easy to assume that he has some innate ability that he was born with. Either you have it or you don't. But the truth is, confidence is a skill. And President Obama, just like all confident people, built that skill. He practiced it over a lifetime. So here's a simple example of how you can control your confidence in less than 20 seconds. Take something you routinely say, like what you did this weekend, and change the way you say it. I want you to channel your inner super confident person. It could be Barack Obama. It could be Susan Sarandon. It could be whoever you want. Don't focus on who it is. Don't even worry about what you say. Instead, focus on changing how you say it. Sit up straight. Speak slowly. And imagine what you're saying is incredibly important because the people listening want to hear it. Let me show you an example, a little before and after. I can't even remember. I mean, I think it was pretty good. It was actually pretty crazy, but I just went to a movie and saw some friends, you know, the usual, I guess. Now let's compare the after. We had a great weekend. I was with the kids on Saturday. Then Michelle and I caught a Broadway show and finished the night at that new sake bar downtown. Now, what'd you notice? Notice first that I'm intentionally using someone else to role play. This really lets us get into play acting without worrying about our own life, our own Saturday. Ooh, maybe I don't have as cool of a life as going to a sake bar. Don't worry about that. All we're doing here is working on our delivery. Remember, nobody sees inside of you. They don't see how confident you are, how much work you spent practicing. All they see is the way you answer a question or the way you sit when you're talking to them. So when it comes to confidence, confidence can actually come from the outside in, not just from the inside out, which is what everybody tells you. So instead of waiting for it to just magically appear, where's my confidence? Where is it? We're actually changing our behavior, something everyone can do, and we're letting the confidence follow. The external influences the internal. And once you master this concept, you can apply it to a lot more than just how you speak and how you sit.
Rule number 5, apply the D to C principle.
When anyone says, you know, I bought a business class ticket, notice the almost instinctive reaction. It's like, this, you know, what a show off. And all these other things that come along with it. And I want to challenge people. I have this principle I call the D to C principle. And it, instead of being derisive and saying, oh, so stupid, that's ridiculous, I would never do that. I actually want to encourage everyone to be C, curious. Why would a guy like Lewis intentionally spend money on a business class ticket? Man, he earns good money. He has a lot of options. He must know something that I don't. And I want to understand why. So from D to C, and if you start to take that perspective, especially on high earners and how they spend their money, all of a sudden you stop saying, that's ridiculous, or if I had $1 million, I would never do that. Instead you say, why did that person spend on that? And I want to know. Maybe I don't agree. Maybe, you know, you become a multimillionaire and you don't want to spend on business class. You just don't care. But it's interesting that you do it, and I'd like to know more.
Rule number 6, add value first. 6. That's 6.
According to who?
Chinese.
If you go to this site, I will teach you to be rich, you can see the names of the products, but you can't buy. Why? Because I don't want you to go and just look at the course and just say, do I like this or not? Do I feel like, it's not a pack of gum. These are works of art that we spent years and millions of dollars building and testing. And so what I want to do, instead of just trying to get money quickly, I want to build a relationship. So the only thing you can do, you can read 12 years of free material, you can look at our thousands of YouTube videos, but if you want to know more, then I want to send you free material through our email list. And so you can see there's lots of places to sign up to get tons of bonus material. Now, if you do that, suddenly you and I have a relationship, and I can send you emails and on and on. So we have, many hundreds of thousands of people who are on our email list, and they get emails from us 4 or 5 times a week. Isn't that a lot?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, I've heard that I email more than people's girlfriends, boyfriends, moms, dad. I say I love it because our emails break all the rules. They're really long. People say, oh, nobody has time. Make it quick. Wrong. If you have something interesting to write, people will read 20-page long emails.
Wow.
And we don't allow people to buy until the time is right. When the time is right, we open up our course. You can join if you choose. If not, that's totally fine.
Rule number 7, learn to handle no's.
Who here has felt some sort of rejection in the last 30 days with your business? Come on, don't bullshit me. Everybody does. And the crazy part is they won't tell you the truth. They'll never say, you spent the last 4 years of your life building a photo sharing app, and the truth is, I don't really care if my photos aren't organized. They'll never tell you that. Just be like, I think the price is a little high. Remember that $5 ebook I created? I had people who were like, Ramit, love the ebook, but I don't trust PayPal. But I do trust the US Postal Service. So if you could set up a PO box, in fact, I'll buy 2 copies. And like naive Ramit in 2006, I was like, okay. So I actually set up a PO box, and I was like waiting, like where's my bushel full of checks? And over the course of an entire year, I received 1 check for $4.95. Don't make my mistakes. The thing is, they'll never tell you why. They'll never tell you why. So I want to show you how we handle no's. Here's a script. I'd like to show it to you. This is from a student of ours who applied for a program. He was accepted, and then he didn't join. Let me read it to you. Hi, Karthik. I noticed you were interested in testing blah, 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 and you filled out the application, but you didn't sign up. How come? The course is closed now, but I just wanted to reach out and find out what's up. So this is written very intentionally. First, people don't like to be told, hey, you said you were going to do something and then you didn't do it. They don't like it. But we still want to find the answer to our question. So we did a couple things in this email, and we've tested this. 1, we kept it really short. 2, it's super conversational. Notice the phrases, how come? Or let me know what's up. Sometimes we say, out of curiosity. We're not saying, we're not being super corporate about it. And then 3rd, we have to be really clear. We're not trying to sell. In fact, the course is now closed. We cannot collect your money. We don't want it. We get massive responses. So if you have had people who are on your email list or in your customer base, they have not bought something from you, you're sitting on a gold mine. The type of answers we get from this are amazing. They'll say things like, well, I'd love to join, but course looks awesome, but I'm in Australia and I can't fly to New York. We're like, dude, it's an online course. But that's not their fault, it's our fault for not communicating that. Or we get people who say, this course looks amazing, but it's really expensive and I can't convince my husband or wife to buy into it. That's actually really valuable, so now we can add that to our FAQ. So we collect these data points at every stage of the customer experience. Before the product, in the product, if they refund, et cetera, et cetera. I can't tell you enough, you have to listen to the customer.
Rule number 8, getting control of your life.
Why is it hard for us to talk about money? Why is it scary?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about it enough with our friends, our family? Why is that?
There's one great study showing people would rather talk about their sex lives than their amount of credit card debt.
I love that.
I think that's totally true.
It's true.
100%. And think about what money means. It means that you were successful in this culture. And I am here, people know me as the I will teach you to be rich guy. And I have always said money is an important but small part of living a rich life. Just because you make more or less doesn't mean we're better friends. Not at all. It has nothing to do with that. But it is important for people to be in control of their money, whether they're making $15 an hour or $15,000 an hour. And there are people I know who make that. So that just simply shows, are you in control of your life at whatever level you are? It's embarrassing for people. They're never taught this. And then suddenly they graduate and they're supposed to know what tax withholding is and what a 529 and 401k and all this crazy stuff is.
Yeah.
Nobody taught it to them. So my goal here, the reason I'm talking about this, is for people to feel more confident about their money, for them to take control, and for them to stop being afraid and listening to random people giving them advice.
Rule number 9, find your mentors.
Who are your money mentors? Who's been your mentors?
You know, I've studied most of the greats, and I read their stuff. I think it's absolutely fascinating to know from different types of investors, different types of personal finance personalities, but the people that influence me most come from the world of psychology. They come from different worlds. So we have an amazing professor, B.J. Fogg, one of my mentors, Brian Wansig at Cornell, who wrote an amazing book, Mindless Eating, which is so close to money. It's just about food. All these guys, Cialdini, of course, who teach us about the true theoretical psychology of why we do what we do. Those are the people who actually influence me the most.
Rule number 10, buy back your time.
I actually want to make the case against extreme frugality. Everybody, everywhere you turn, you hear people telling you what you can't do with your money. No lattes, no jeans, no vacations, save it up in a little treasure box, and then one day when you can't even see anymore, then you'll be able to take the greatest vacations of your life. Who wants to live like that? I would rather you set your automatic savings goals, you set your automatic investing goals, and then you take the rest of your money, your guilt-free money, and you spend it extravagantly on the things you love. One way, very simple, when you go to the grocery store, maybe you buy a bunch of pre-cut vegetables. Now, when I was growing up, my mom thought this was a huge waste of money. I now think it's a great use of money because it buys back my time. Another thing you can do, a lot of people live in New York, hire a dog walker. You have a dog, you may not have time to walk that dog in the middle of the day, boom, dog walker, done. And then as you become even more successful or more strapped for time, there are even more ways that you may want to spend your money. You may want to hire an assistant to help plan your travel. You may want to spend for a business class flight because when you arrive, you're getting straight to work. These are all different ways that you can be thinking of buying back your time. As a general rule of thumb, I want you to be saving 5 to 10% of your take-home income, and I want you to be investing 10% of your take-home income. If you do that, you're on a good track. And that means that the rest of your money after your fixed expenses like your rent or your mortgage is guilt-free money.
Now I've got a special bonus rule from Ramit on how to start small that I really think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. Where can you add value first to your clients? Number 2, where do you need to get in control of your life? And number 3, how can you buy back your time?
I started the blog while I was in college. I started it in 2004. And it wasn't some burst of genius. It was that I was trying to teach my friends about personal finance. And I would sit there and listen at the dining halls and they'd be complaining about my overdraft fee or something. And I would say, hey, why don't you come take my free 1-hour class? And they said, that sounds awesome. And then they would never show up.
Yeah.
So what I learned later is that people don't really want to go to events about money. It makes them feel bad about themselves. You also don't really want to learn from your friends because your friend is your friend you go out drinking with.
Yep.
It's not your friend you listen to about asset allocation.
Right.
And also, I had a lot to learn myself. I was talking about banking and budgeting, which college kids don't care about. So that didn't work. I did that for 1.5 years. It's very frustrating. I would show up, nobody would come. But I just felt like I had something that the world needed to hear. And I just said, let me start a blog. Maybe I'll start it and these lazy college kids will read it from their dorm room. And that turned out to be exactly right. People liked to read someone like them. Instead of lecturing them, I would just talk. And I would talk to them about all the things that people like you and I care about. We got that cheap friend who never puts in a tip when we go out to eat. Like all these things that are just day-to-day real life. And over time, that blog grew and grew, and that eventually turned into a business.
So when was the tipping point where you decided, okay, I'm going to focus on the blog full time?
Well, that was something I'd thought about a lot, because at a certain point, the blog was kind of starting to grow, and there was, you know, like 100,000 monthly readers, and then 150, and I started getting people emailing me, and it started to get into this thing that I realized was a little bigger than I had ever imagined. But I told myself, I'm working at PBWiki, I'm committed, and so the mental exercise that I ran with myself was, I'm not even gonna think about doing this full time until my blog generates more income than my full-time job for 4 months in a row.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it would happen 1 month and then it would stop. So I had to reset. So it kind of just allowed me to put that thing out of my mind instead of constantly agonizing over it. And finally, it started to actually happen consistently. That didn't mean I just jumped ship. Then I could start to actually think about it because I knew that the financial concern was not that big of a deal.
If you want more marketing top 10s, check out the one I did on Joe Polish. The link is right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
If there's other people making money in the business you're in and you're not, there's nothing wrong with the business you're in, there's something wrong with you. However, I'm really big on making money.